Okay, let's get started. John chapter 2. John chapter 2. We're starting a whole new series tonight. It's called Crushed by Love. Crushed by Love. And today, grapes are crushed. Oh. So, our sermon series has a lot to do with love, but it also has a lot to do with pressure. And it has a lot to do with when you feel squashed in life, and when you feel stepped on, and when you feel like you're procrastinating, and everything's coming down on you, or when you feel like you're starting school and there's just like some real stress coming in. So I want to talk about being pushed down, but I want to also talk about being pushed down because of love. And so today, this is our first sermon, but it's not really a sermon, it's really just like a syllabus for the entire sermon series. A syllabus is a precursor. Another syllabus for you. Welcome back to school, children. All right. John chapter 2. Sorry. It's not a syllabus, it's a really exciting one sheet with fireworks. And super cool. Oh, I'm not relevant anymore, so I'm just gonna stop.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
You're relevant.
Oh, thank you. John chapter 2. The field. The next day there was a wedding celebration in the village of Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples were also invited to the celebration. The wine supply ran out during the festivities, so Jesus' mother told him, "They have no more wine." "Dear woman, that's not our problem," Jesus replied.
Why do you involve me? It doesn't even say dear on mine.
It's just a woman?
Look,
Mine's a little bit nicer. And he says, Jesus replied, this is important, my time has not yet come. My time has not yet come. But his mother told the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus told the servants, "Fill the jars with water." When the jars had been filled, he said, "Now dip some out and take it to the master of ceremonies." So the servants followed his instructions. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. "A host always serves the best wine first," he said. "Then, when everyone has had a lot to drink, he brings out the less expensive wine. But you have kept the best until now." This miraculous sign at Cana in Galilee was the first time Jesus revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. After the wedding, he went to Capernaum for a few days with his mother, his brothers, and his disciples. So this is Jesus' very first miracle. This is the first time he shows his glory. And what's really interesting is it's at a wedding. He's not healing anyone. He's not casting anything out. He's at a wedding, and they've run out of wine. Now, when there's a problem, who do you go to? When there's pressure kind of coming at you, who do you go to? Who's the first person? I think when I have some pressure in my life, the first person I call is, or the first person I talk to is someone. But the first person I call for help is probably my dad. I'm like, "Hey Dad, we're in this weird situation. You've been through a lot of life experience. Tell me what you think." Hopefully that you see your parents as a resource for you that you can do that with. Hopefully you see Summer and I as a resource when you're going through a really weird spot in life that you can come to us and say, "Hey, tell me what you think. What does God say about this?" And we'll be happy to answer that question. But the first person that Mary goes to is Jesus. The first person that Mary goes to is Jesus, because Mary recognized, like, what I love about this part of the Bible is that it's right at the beginning, and not a whole lot of people know about Jesus yet. He's like literally at a wedding, and he's not being told by people. His mom comes up to him to talk to him. For the rest of the Bible, we see like crowds all around Jesus constantly. And so Mary comes up to him and says, "Hey Jesus, they have no more wine." Mary knows who Jesus is, and Mary has faith in Jesus' ability to conquer the problem? Do you have faith in Jesus' ability to conquer your problem? When you are running low, when you are running out, when you are down to your last drops, do you go to Jesus? Do you believe that he can fix your problem? Because sometimes we don't go to Jesus. Sometimes we don't go anywhere, right? I think that's my natural step, is just to kind of internalize my problem. I might share it with Summer, but I'm not expecting any fixes there. I'm just like, hey, I'm feeling bothered by this, and I don't ever go to the one who can handle it. Now, what's interesting is that Mary goes to Jesus about wine, and what's Jesus' response?
Woman!
Woman?
What?
He says, that's not our problem. And then he says, my time has not yet come. So this is very interesting to me. And it should be very interesting to you, because Mary goes and she talks to Jesus about wine, and then Jesus responds to her about himself. Mary's like, there's a problem, there's no more wine. And Jesus is like, not our problem, my time has not yet come. Like, we're not talking like, he's not like, hey, I'll run down to the corner store, I'll pick up some extra bottles, we'll have this party right back on track. No, he's like, hey, my time has not yet come. Which is a very interesting response from Jesus, because sometimes when people talk about ordinary things and Jesus acts like he's ignorant, it's because he's out to bring greater revelation. If you see a part in the Bible when Jesus acts like he's ignorant, he's actually about bringing greater revelation to you. If you ask Jesus something in your prayer life, and Jesus is like, and the response you get is like silence, expect a great revelation to come to you. Because if Jesus doesn't respond in a way you expected him to respond, it's because there's something you don't understand about who Jesus is.
Sometimes we have a different solution than what you think the solution.
There we go. So now look at verse 11 for me. It says, this miraculous sign continued. Now, let me tell you something about miracles. C.S. Lewis says this: miracles are not superpowers. You don't ever see Jesus flying through the air, shooting laser beams from his eyes. It's not what Jesus does. He's not doing. Miracles are connected to nature. Miracles are connected to the greater reality. They're just more supernatural than the natural. They're not unnatural, they're supernatural. So when the bread multiplies and the fish multiplied from 5 loaves and 2 fish to feeding 5,000 people, bread and grain naturally multiplies, right? Fish naturally multiply. Right? When healing comes, the body naturally heals itself. God built us with an immune system. If my arm gets cut, my arm will be healed. And guess what? When Jesus heals, it's because he's doing something that already naturally happens, but he's turned the natural into supernatural.
Sure.
Now, so when the water turns into, now something else about miracles you need to understand is this. Miracles are also not just there, they're meant to point to something. Miracles are both supernatural and signs, as the book of John describes them. They're signs, waypoints, pointing you in a direction. So when Jesus makes a miraculous sign here, he's not just talking about wine. He's not just trying to continue the party. He's talking about himself. When Jesus heals someone, he's saying, I'm the great physician. When Jesus shows love to people that the world can't fathom loving, he's saying, I am the great Savior and lover of the world. You know, some of Jesus' love in the Bible is a miracle because people can't even fathom loving a leper like Jesus loves them. And sometimes we don't see that. We just think, oh, it's just love. And we're just normal. It's just love. It's just love. It's Jesus' love that goes far beyond and expands our capacity to love when we see him love. Amen. So what we see with this water into wine is its actually pointing at Jesus. Now, what is it saying? It's saying a lot of things, but one thing it's saying is here. Look at with me at verse 6. Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Each could hold 20 to 30 gallons. Let's read that one verse again. Standing nearby were 6 stone water jars used for Jewish ceremonial washing. Jewish ceremonial washing. So what's interesting is that, what's interesting is that they have a giant basin full of water, and the Jews were required by the law to not just wash their hands, but to wash up to their elbows. Because people back then were dirty and stinky, and they wanted to make sure that they weren't, and when God said, hey, when you're moving from slaves to a civilization, from slaves to society, I don't want you to spread germs about. So I want you to wash your hands the proper way. And so they would have this bowl for washing and this water for ceremonial cleansing. Baptism originally, for example, about baptism in the future. Baptism was originally meant as a way to clean the outside of yourself so that you could approach God. Right? It used to be this way that you could, I'm going to approach God, so I've got to get my whole body clean. When you used to go to church, you used to wear a suit and tie, but now you just dress like a hobo. You're just like, I'm here, I'm in my pajamas, appreciate me, you know. Did that hurt too much? Was that too painful for some people? But now Jesus takes this ceremonial washing and he turns it into wine as a way of saying, this old way of coming close to God is over. There's a new way to come close to God. This old washing that you used to do is over. Now you will know me by presence. You don't have water to wash your hands on the table at dinner, do you? Right? Imagine if we all washed our hands in a bowl of water right now, all together, would that water be pristine at the end of it, or would it be very dirty? You could probably see the dirt within it, right? Now, do you put wine on a table? Why?
It's a complimentary.
It's for drinking. It's for complementing conversation. It's for complementing coming together. Like we talked about with our Psalm 23. When the host would pour the wine and pour the wine and pour the wine until he was saying, now it's time for you to go. But David said, my cup runneth over. It's never time for you to leave. How does your relationship with God look? Does it look like you are trying to clean yourself up to get to God? I'm trying to make myself clean before him. I can't come before him because I'm too dirty. I've done these things, I'm too dirty. Or does it look like Jesus has taught you a whole new way of being with God? That is not contingent on what you've done, but it's just about complementing your conversation, being close to him, being intimate with him, knowing him. Because I think Jesus has come to bring us something brand. I recently got a new job. And I was stocking shelves.
My mom found that and she got really upset.
Oh, okay. Anyway,
Wait.
pause. It's another conversation for another thing.
Wait, but you were
That wasn't very This is stocking shelves. I'll tell you later.
Okay.
But it's been a really awesome mission opportunity to work with a team of about 100 people. So I'm literally preaching to people while I'm stocking shelves. And I'm having a whole lot of fun. And so I was kind of like practicing the sermon on some people. And this kid said, no, the best is that he's like 18 years old. So he does not have that much life experience. If you think that you do at your age, newsflash, you don't. But he's like, oh, my best years are behind me. I was so awesome in high school, and now I'm just here. I was so cool in high school, and now I'm just here. My best years are behind me. Like, I don't think, and I was saying to him, hey, I see your hard work, you're working hard. Like, no, I see you, and management's gonna see you. You just put your whole into this job. And he's like, no one ever sees me. I'm never noticed. Like, I'm never gonna get higher up in this place I've been here for 2 months. I'm never going to get a promotion.
Only
He's like,
2 months? Duh, of course.
I'm like, oh, come here, boy. Let me preach to you. So I said this, verse 9. When the master of ceremonies tasted the water that was now wine, not knowing where it had come from, though of course the servants knew, he called the bridegroom over. A host always serves the best wine first, he said. Then when everyone has a lot to drink, he brings out the less expensive wine. But you have kept the best until now.
Wow.
I didn't. That was Jesus preaching. So, what you need to understand is that Jesus is going to turn your water into wine. Jesus is going to turn your water into wine. No matter where you are at right now, whether you are like John the Baptist and you are not fully formed yet, that Jesus wants to turn your water into wine. And next week we're going to talk about the way that happens. You know water turns into wine all the time in nature. We're going to talk about how that happens. And Jesus actually uses a metaphor for himself in the middle of that process of how water turns into wine. We're going to talk about it later. Preview John 15 if you want a spoiler alert. But what happens is this. Don't look now, Hyro. Cheers.
You did say spoiler.
He said, let me look right now.
Give us the facts.
Have you ever heard of these guys say, stop reading the Bible? No. So, Jesus wants to turn your water into wine. And sometimes it can feel like, I don't have a future. Right? Sometimes it can feel like this next school year starting, I'm really not excited for it. This next place I'm moving to, I'm really not excited for it. This thing that's ahead of me, I'm not excited for because what's happened already, I feel like that's the best it's always been. But Jesus says, hey, I've saved the best until last. You are not fully formed yet. There's going to be greater ministry ahead of you. Jesus is going to be doing greater things ahead of you. And you are going to be getting better and better and better as you move forward into this relationship with Jesus.
Yes.
There are some people that are just, have you ever met a 70-year-old person that just kind of gave up,
Yes.
right? They're just kind of like, oh, fine, I quit. I want us to be Jesus followers better at 70 than we ever were in our youth. Better at 70 than we ever were at 20, 30, 40, 50. Better at 70. I want you to be wiser at 70. I want you to laugh more at 70. I want you to love more at 70. I want you to serve more at 70 than you ever did when you were a teenager. You're going to say, oh, those days when I was a teenager? Sure, I have a lot of passion, but I didn't have a whole lot of initiation for that passion. So now I'm going to put it into work. And I don't care. Nothing's going to stop me from doing this Jesus thing. Because I'm better now than I ever was. Jesus saved the best for last. He's turning you into a vintage. What happens? Wine gets better as it gets older. The best is yet to come. One last thing I want to show you. Isaiah 53 with me.
What was it?
Isaiah 53. Isaiah 53. This is a prophecy about Jesus. And Mary walks up to Jesus and she says, we have no more wine. And Jesus says, woman, this does not concern us. My time has not yet come. Mary was talking to him about wine, and Jesus was talking to him about himself. And here's why. Isaiah 53, verse 10. Isaiah 53, verse 10.
Read on.
But it was the Lord's good plan to crush him and cause him grief. Yet when his life is made an offering for sin, he will have many descendants. He will enjoy a long life, and the Lord's good plan will prosper in his hands. Who's ever told you that when God sends difficult things your way, stress your way, pressure your way, it's because he wants what's best for you? Yeah? I think that's true. But is that true for Jesus? Why did God crush Jesus? Was it because it was good for Jesus?
No, it was good for you.
It was good for others. sometimes you have shirked off responsibility and pressure from your life. And God wants to apply pressure on you. Because not just because it's good for you, but because it's good for everyone around you. So, and this, like I said, this is just a syllabus. We're going to talk a whole lot more about crushing and pressure. There's a verse that says we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. And we're going to talk about these hard places in life where it gets difficult and we persevere. But let me tell you this: God wants to crush you, sometimes because it's just His will, and sometimes because when He crushes you, it's better for everyone around you. That's what it was for Jesus. Does this verse bother anyone? When I first read it, it bothered me, right? Does it say that God, regrettably, had to crush Jesus? No. No. It said that it pleased God to crush Him. It pleased God to crush Him and cause Him grief. That's not morbid. But here's the deal. What is the result of Jesus' crushing? Salvation and life for all. Hope for all. Salvation for everyone. Let me tell you this. Some of you have heard this good news. Some of you have begrudgingly accepted this good news. But God has called you to joyfully accept this good news. That where you are no longer looked at as Timmy or Kipom or Victoria. You are now looked at as Jesus because of what Jesus had done to Him. Because Jesus was crushed and caused grief to His life, you now have life. And if you have not accepted that, if you have not received that, if you have not taken hold of that, you need to, because it's going to give you such a change in everything that you do, a salvation to everything that you know. There is grace for you. Grace, not of washing water with your hands, but of a glass of wine. That God says, come in. I want to sit and talk with you forever. I'm never sending you away. Because I'm sitting with my Son. I'm sitting with Jesus. It pleased God to crush Him because God so loved the world. Now check this out. Final thing I'm going to say. What happens to wine right before it
It's crushed and mangled up.
gets crushed? Look with me at that verse again. There's something interesting in the second part of that verse. It says, but it was the Lord's good plan to crush Him and cause Him grief. Listen to this. Yet, when His life is made an offering for sin, He will have many descendants. He will enjoy a long life, and the Lord's good plan will prosper in His hands. Does any of that make sense? For the people reading this, it would have not made any sense, because when they read sin offering literally means something has to die for me. It means offering is not, I'm going to light a few candles on this altar, I'm going to pray to God. No, offering is something needs to be killed. So when this says, it pleased God to crush Him, and then it says, as a sin offering, they're thinking, this person is dead. But then the verse continues, yet when His life is made a sin offering, He will have many descendants.
Yes.
He will enjoy a long, long life, and the Lord's good plan will prosper in His hands. What happens when a grape is crushed is it starts a whole new life as wine. And what happened when Jesus was crushed was that He started a whole new life, and that He's just growing greater and greater minute by minute because that vintage is growing stronger and stronger. 3,000, 2,000 years old is this vintage, and it tastes amazing. It smells, the aroma is fantastic, and He calls you to drink deep of His love, of His death, and of His resurrection. That's a good place to end. Stand up for me. Stand up for me. If you have, bow your heads for me. If you have never accepted this offering from Jesus, fact that he was broken and crushed for you. And that not just that he was crushed for you, but that he lived again for you. He rose from the grave for you. So that you can have a knowledge that it's no longer my sin all over me. It's no longer my death all over me. I've been cleansed by Jesus forever. If you've never made that decision, if you've never accepted that with joy, and you want to tonight, I just want you to put up your hand really quick. I want to accept this tonight. I want to accept this tonight. Okay, put your hands down. If you just want to accept this offering, so we're going to pray together. Jesus, everybody together. Jesus.
Jesus,
Thank you.
thank you.
You were crushed for me
For crushed for me
on the cross.
on the cross.
Your love poured out.
Love poured out.
Today I choose to follow you.
Today I choose to follow you.
Wash me clean.
Wash me clean.
Make me new.
Make me new.
Thank you for rising again
Thank you for rising
and bringing me to new life with you.
bringing me to new life.
Whatever you say,
Whatever you say,
I will follow.
I will follow.
Wherever you go,
Wherever you go,
that's where I want to be.
that's where I want to be.
Fill me with your Holy Spirit even now.
Fill me with your Holy Spirit.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus.
And all God's people say.
All God's people say, Amen.
All right, who's ready to worship?
Bye, everyone on the line.
On the line.